How to get on and off of your bike has been discussed on GCN by many prominent riders. Now, like a good old recipe from your grandmother, it's passed down through the generations. I learned it a certain way, maybe the Belgians learned it a different way, and their cookies taste different than our cookies, and for good reason. A lot of what I talk about is gonna be based on personal preference and the way that you learned it. But today, I'm gonna teach you guys about how I learned it and the way that I like to get on and off the bike. So the first thing that you need to think about anytime you're at the cross track is, what gear will I be in for whatever obstacle that you come up to, whether it's a jump or a gap or a barricade, a log, stairs, what gear am I gonna be in? It's a big thing that you have to always think about anytime you're at a cyclo-cross track. So why do you not wanna be in a big gear when you get off the bike? Let's imagine that you're flying down some swooping downhill and then you're gonna get off the barriers and then it kind of goes off and a little bit slightly uphill and you're in too big of a gear. What's gonna happen? Well, you get the bike away from you and then you go to get back onto it and, well, it's not gonna be very efficient because I can't get the bike back up to speed without muscling it really hard. Okay, so now that we know what gear we're gonna be in, which for this moment, going so slow is gonna be our easiest one, the next thing we need to do is take our right leg and get it around the back of the bike. Then you wanna take your right hand and you wanna put it 3/4 of the way down the top tube so that you're set up. Okay, so now the next thing that you wanna make sure that you do is you've got these points of contact, 3 points, left hand left shifter, right hand 3/4 of the way down the top tube, and then you've got your saddle right here on the seat. Okay, so we've gone through so far thinking about what gear you need to be in. You wanna make sure that you get your leg around the back of the bike. You want your 3 points of contact, left hand, left shifter, right hand 3/4 of the way down the top tube on your hip. You're gonna go out, you're gonna pause the video, you're gonna go practice that right now, and come back. So when you're coming into the barriers, you wanna make sure that you have your points of contact set up long ways out. You don't wanna be trying to do all that stuff right here in front of the barrier. That's not gonna end well. And then you wanna make sure that you get the bike nice and far away from you, okay? The last thing you wanna do is have this seat underneath your armpit with the pedals all up in your knees. That's not gonna be good for anyone. You're gonna hurt yourself, you're gonna hit your shins on your pedals, and you're gonna probably eat it. Next, we're gonna talk about how to put the bike down. You wanna have the bike as far away from you as you possibly can, and then once you put it down, it's not a drop, right? You wanna make sure that you, nice like landing a plane, nice and gently, you wanna put the bike down, then you wanna take your right hand, you wanna put it on top of the right shifter, and then you wanna count to 5 as you're running with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're gonna get back on the bike. You've got your bike, put it down, take your right hand, put on the right shifter, count it to 5. Now, you've got to push the eject button and you've got to get back on the bike. I've seen so many different things happen over the years. Crow hops, bad style, the bike goes down too fast, it's bouncing, people try to get back on, yeah, no, don't do that. You want to hit the inside of your leg like this, right here. Hamstring can take almost all the force. It's a very strong muscle, so hit your hamstring, and then as you're going forward momentum, you want to find your pedals and then pick your head up and look forward. The last thing you want to be doing, looking down here while someone's having a problem in front of you and then you run into them. You want to have your head up, looking where you are, and keep your momentum. Okay, so now we need to tie everything together. Remember, you want to be in a super easy gear, especially if you're going to be going at it at low speed. The next thing that you want to do is make sure that you get your points of contact set up. So the points of contact are those 3 points, your left shifter, your right hand 3/4 of the way back on the top tube, and your hip. You want to make sure that you get the bike way away from you. You want to set it down gently, like an airplane. Hand goes on the right shifter. Now you're running with the bike. 1, 2, 3. Then eject button. Hit that hamstring, look down, find the pedals, and then immediately look up because you don't want to run into anybody. Riding with your bike longhorn style, leg way back, arm off the front of the bars as you get to the top tube like you're trying out for a skating team in the Winter Olympics. No, thank you. Here we've got the old dismount while still holding the top tube to get your foot around the back of the bike. This is bad for a ton of reasons. Mainly, it's impossible to control your bike like that and super dangerous. Both hands on the shifters, trying to quickly get your hand on the top tube to pick the bike up. No, thank you. Stepping through. This one is not great if you love your front teeth. Now, I know a lot of you old school riders out there love this technique, but at high speed, the step through, man, listen, might be personal preference. I'm not mad at you. It's just not the way that I would do it. I just wouldn't do the step through. It's not a good look, especially if you love your front teeth. I like mine. You're gonna light me up in the comments for not talking about the drive side of the bike. I actually don't know how to get off on the drive side of the bike. It's so goofy to put the bike on, like run with it with the derailleur all up. I can't teach it. I can't do it. That is my recipe that I have developed over many, many years. I'm pretty much a grandmother or a grandfather at this point. That's my recipe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Leave us a comment below. Let me know what your recipe is. If you liked mine, if you've got your own, I'd love to hear what you guys do differently than I do. If you want to see other great cyclocross videos, check them out right here. And if you want to subscribe to GCN, please click right there.